going on, dudes and dudettes? So just waited till the weekend to be over. Finally have a lot of stuff to talk about. Let's get into it. Somewhat of a good weekend. The Chargers did get a win against Tennessee Titans in London by 1 point because Tennessee decided to go for 2 and missed it on 2 opportunities, if I remember correctly. And yeah, they just seemed like they had so many opportunities down there, which sucked a lot because it was just tough to watch, but luckily they weren't able to get it. And then Chargers recovered onside kick. So right now they are 5-2 on the season, which I haven't been able to say that in a long time, about 4 or 5 years that they started off this well. And then also they have they had the bye week this week and coming up, and then a pretty tough schedule going on towards the last part of the season, the last, like 8-9 games. So it's going to be tough, but I think they can do it. They'll be at least in the wild card discussion, hopefully, because they beat up a lot of those teams right now that are there. And also congratulations to the LA Dodgers for making the World Series for the 2nd straight year in a row. Really cool for them. I know a lot of my family out in the valley on that side really pulling for them, so I was hoping that they'd make it for you guys, and it's great to see. Hopefully they can do it this time. I mean, Red Sox seem a bit more high potent than Houston was last year, but it's definitely going to be a contest, and I'm hoping that the Dodgers could come out with a win for this time. Yes, USC did lose this weekend pretty badly against Utah, which I was going into it saying that they probably would, since they haven't won there the past 2 times they've been there under Clay Helton, which kind of sucks. I don't know why he can't get the team to win over there. And also going through the game, their starting quarterback JT Daniels was taken out. He was going through concussion protocols and was not able to come back, and then the 2nd string guy went in. And then I heard after the game that he broke some ribs. So going into yesterday, both the starting quarterback and the backup were not going to play this coming weekend. But luckily, JT Daniels passed the first stages of the concussion protocol. So it looks like he's going to be able to start this Saturday against ASU. So it's just at least get some of these guys out there. A lot of guys banged up also on the defensive side. But hopefully we get some of these guys back, and also this pretty highly credited guys that I follow that do a lot of USC news. I mean, that's pretty much all they do, but now they're finally saying that it's time to fire Coach T. Martin, the offensive coordinator for USC, which is what I've been saying this whole entire time, probably like last year and a half, even when I didn't make videos going into the last season. I've been saying that just because I don't think he's good enough, and it's just continues to show. I mean, I believe USC scored their first touchdown, offensive touchdown, and then their second one was a defensive scoop and score, and then after that they didn't score till like almost the beginning of the 4th quarter, which is crazy to believe that a team like that with so many 4 and 5-star talented guys going up against, you know, a team in Utah that doesn't have that many highly talented guys on their team, but because they're coached well enough, they're always able to beat up on USC when it comes to playing in Utah. So I don't know. Hopefully they start with the offensive coordinator, and then if the team doesn't have a good enough record, like say 2 games over 500 when it comes to the end of the season, then yes, it's time to get rid of Clay Helton, in my opinion. I do have a few guys that I like, but I'll probably put that in on another video because I didn't really set it up for this one. I just want to mention it. So yes, that's what we're dealing with in USC. And as far as NFL USC, Deontay Burnett was put up to the active roster, the ex-wide receiver rookie. And I forgot he was on the Jets. I know he signed with the Titans, but then now he's on the Jets, and luckily he's there with Sam Darnold, so that was cool. I don't know if he got any playing time. And then Nico Fala, a guy who played center a lot for USC last year. I wasn't really high on the offensive line. He recently signed with Denver, so good luck to him. Hopefully he can make it or not, but I only hope he does, because he'll probably suck for Denver, and that's what I need, is Denver to suck for my LA Chargers. And then there was the Laker game on Saturday night against Houston, the opening home game for LeBron in the Lakers uniform, but didn't turn out so well. They did lose, and towards the end, about 4 minutes left, there was a pretty big fight between, well, first it started when James Harden basically elbows Brandon Ingram out of the way, and they somehow call a foul on Brandon Ingram, which is ridiculous. But all Harden kept doing was complaining to the refs, saying that it should have counted when they kept saying it didn't count, his little layup. So Brandon Ingram just pushed him out of the way, and then he gets into one of the referee's face, I'm sure just telling him that he's not calling the game correctly. And then somebody pulls him away, and then that's it for like 10 seconds. And then Rondo and CP3 start standing next to each other, and supposedly there was a Rondo spat in CP3's face, but it was like sometimes people do like weird tricks, like they could spit out stuff through their teeth, and obviously Rondo had a mouth guard, so I'm pretty sure if anybody's ever had one of those, it always fills up with saliva anyways, so pretty sure Rondo knows how to do little tricks like that to get under people's skin, but it was in someone's face, so of course that's why, you know, CP3 is like putting his finger up in his face, and then Rondo swung at him, and then CP3 swung, and everybody kind of broke out, and then Brandon Ingram came in kind of from the blind side and tried to punch at CP3, Chris Paul. So it came down yesterday. Was it yesterday or today? I don't know, but that Brandon Ingram was getting the most games suspended. He's at 4 starting tonight against San Antonio, and then Rondo's getting 3 and Chris Paul is getting 2, because apparently he didn't cause everything, even though he did put his hands in someone else's face. But I guess he's the victim in this case, but it does kind of suck. Obviously Brandon Ingram today said if it happened again, he would do it again, just because he's sticking up for his teammates, even though he knows it was wrong and he hates that he got himself suspended. But hopefully you can learn from this. At least he's showing a little bit more fight and, you know, some character, because it kind of just seemed like he looks a little bit disinterested at times, but it's just because of how good he is and just how kind of normal he is. He doesn't get overreacted, but somehow that overreaction came on Saturday, because there's like a lot of calls that the refs didn't call the whole entire game for the Lakers, and it kind of just ended up building up till that, so I kind of understand. But we will deal with this. We will get better. Hopefully the Lakers can get their first W tonight against San Antonio. We'll see, and I'll definitely have a report on that within the next day or two. So Zion Williamson was named also to that Karl Malone like top power forward list in college basketball that Benny Boatwright got from USC. So congrats to him. Hopefully none of this like FBI crap ends up giving him like being suspended from Duke and not playing, which kind of sucks, because it wasn't Duke that was involved in everything that his family is supposedly involved with. The other schools asking for money and housing and all that crap, but we'll get through it hopefully. Then the Lakers signed Jonathan Williams, a guy they recently waived, but I kind of had a feeling they might bring him back if he wasn't picked up off waivers, and they do, and they let go of Travis Ware, who had recently signed a 2-way contract, but now Jonathan Williams gets that, so he'll be going back and forth between the G League and the top team. So we'll see what he can do if he does get any playing time at some point. I doubt it, but we'll see. And then also that's coming up next. Duke, the AP poll came out for college basketball, which is like the main poll basically, and they have Duke at number 4, which is kind of surprising, especially the other teams that are on top of them. I don't agree with it, because eventually with all that talent on their team, how are they not rated number 1? It's kind of crazy. You have like 4 of like the top 15 guys coming in, and they just don't believe in them, which is kind of weird. But I think we'll be definitely dancing pretty late into March and into early April, I have a feeling. And then Patrick Peterson, one of the top players from Arizona now. He's only 28, but he kind of knows he's probably going to the end of his career, and is saying that he wants to get out of the crappy team in Arizona and onto a contender. So hopefully my Chargers will be involved. They can use another defensive back, especially if you can get rid of guys like Jaleel Adai or Adrian Phillips, who are in that same position as he is, or also, a Trevor Williams if you're going to do that. But you might have to throw in another draft pick too. But if it's Trevor Williams, you don't have to do that high of a draft pick. But if it's the other 2 guys, you probably have to. But definitely intriguing. Definitely one of my favorite players, and hopefully he can end up on our team. And yes, sorry, my phone was running out of battery, or not battery storage. So yeah, to elaborate on that trade for Patrick Peterson, Trevor Williams is probably one of our better corners. So I would say if the Chargers do want to trade him in that process, then you'd have to give up maybe a 4th and a 6th draft pick with him. But with, like, say in the case with a Jaleel Adai or Adrian Phillips, the safeties, you'd probably have to throw in a 3rd round pick, but just a 1 pick. And I think that should be enough for a guy like that, who isn't going to come back to Arizona anyway. So at least they get something in return for him. Instead of just like a pick, they at least get another player as well. So I think that's what would be enticing to them. And then also, the very last thing, USC women's soccer team did get another W. I think it was like 5-0 again. So congrats to them. They look pretty dominant. So hopefully they'll continue on to the postseason, and we'll see how they can do. But thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. And have a great rest of your day.